Bloodwolf Arts Studio. Unleash the artist within.
Welcome to the Bloodwolf Reading Hour with Bloodwolf Art Studio, and I am your host, Mr. Moonlight, and I've got my co-host here today with us again after a long Christmas season break, Robyn Maria. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And I'm excited to continue on through your book that we're reading together. This is chapter 3 of From Surviving to Creating. Whew. Ah, it's good to be back. So
hmm
okay. And so maybe I'll take just a second. I'm gonna pull this up in the book here because it's been a minute.
hmm
We ended our last session. There was a section we did where we was talking about the reflection exercise was all about owning your voice, um, and perhaps setting a long, like, overdue boundary and really tuning into that and essentially being heard. I just this or look for just a second what your title was called for chapter 2, and it was "The Day I Said No More." Wow, what a powerful note to end our last session on and go right into the holidays.
Yeah.
uh, and I definitely took that on and had quite a profound experience. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in.
Okay.
You got your book?
I do.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So this is chapter 3. Even when the world forgets your name, your soul never forgets your worth. Fostered, not forgotten. There's a strange silence that comes the first night you're placed in a stranger's home. Even if people are kind, even if the walls are clean, even if the fridge is full and the bed is made, you still feel like you're holding your breath in someone else's life. When I entered the foster care system, it wasn't just about being placed in a new home. It was about being removed from the only version of normal I had ever known. As broken as that normal was, it was familiar. Familiarity, even when painful, can feel like safety when you've never had anything else. The system. I was one of the 390,000 children in foster care across the United States. On average, children in foster care spend over 21 months in the system. And many, like me, move through multiple placements, each time facing the challenge of adapting to new environments and caregivers. This instability can lead to emotional distress, behavioral issues, and difficulties in forming lasting relationships. Moreover, the trauma associated with entering foster care is profound. Approximately 90% of children in care have experienced trauma in their lifetime, whether physical, emotional, or other forms. These experiences can have lasting impacts on mental health, with foster children facing higher risks of depression, anxiety, and PTSD compared to their peers. These numbers are not just statistics. They represent real children with real stories. Children who, like me, have navigated the complexities of the foster care system, carrying with them the scars of their past and the hope for a better future. I wanted to pause there for a second, see if there's something, some input you had. Um, this was, um, I feel like this kind of gets in pretty deep where it's like even when you're breaking out of this place of I'm finally out of this environment. It's not even close to over. It's a huge step at the end of our last chapter where you said no more and you walked away into who knew what that you knew at the time. But there's still a ways to go because even familiarity feels like safety, even if it's not the best for you.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. Our own reality of normal, because there is no normal. In foster care, I learned that every placement, every people, every family is different, and that is their version of normal. My normal was scary sometimes. It was dangerous sometimes. It was loving sometimes. What I understood love to be at the time, right?
Right.
So that was still safe. My grandfather used to always say to me, if everybody put all of their issues in a pile in the center of the road and were told you could take anything out that you want, most people are going to pick the same problems they had because they were easy, but because we already know them. They're already familiar. And sometimes the unknown is way worse and feels way more dangerous. Even if they had everything together, it was terrifying because I didn't know the people. I was sleeping in strangers' homes. I didn't know what the next 5 minutes was going to look like because, at least in my version of normal, even though my head was on a swivel all the time and I was always alert and always paying attention to what danger or what may be required around me, I at least was familiar with that. I didn't know how to read these people, and to me, that registered as dangerous.
Right. It's the familiar hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
I think
pause.
a lot of people can relate to that, whether they understand that they can or not.
But I think that's a great spot to start into this chapter. So we'll continue right on in. Um, okay. My foster experience. As mentioned, I was in foster care for 4 years and 6 different homes. Each one a new world. Each one a new set of rules. Each one a new challenge of learning how to belong, while knowing deep down that I didn't. There were homes that were quiet and homes that were loud. Homes with too many kids and not enough love. Homes where I was just another mouth to feed, another bed to check off a list. But there were also moments, tiny ones, that gave me strength. Is this part of like the chapter? Is this kind of a side thing, this next part?
No, that's part of the chapter.
Okay. What if I get to decide what my life looks like? I remember a time one foster mom taught me how to braid my own hair and called me beautiful without a hint of sarcasm, or the quiet afternoons when I'd sit under a tree in the backyard, journaling my dreams, reminding myself there had to be something more than this. I remember one afternoon especially. The air was still, and the sun peeked through the branches just enough to cast dancing shadows on the grass. I had a little spiral notebook and a dull pencil. Barely any pages left, the edges smudged from being read and rewritten over and over. I wasn't writing poetry or anything fancy. I was just trying to make sense of my life. I wrote down questions like, why doesn't anyone stay? Or, is this what love is supposed to feel like? Or, will I always feel this alone? And then, what if I get to decide what my life looks like? I didn't even know where that thought came from. Maybe from something I overheard or from a teacher or a book. Maybe from that quiet voice inside me, the one that never fully gave up. I just want to make a comment on that one section right here. It's interesting because it's like you talk about like these quiet moments. It's like it's in those quiet moments where you're bored or whatever that you're actually exploring some of those thoughts and ideas where this stuff starts to come up and you give yourself space to actually kind of think about different possibilities. And it's a very a creative space. Quietness is a very creative place.
Well, and quietness is where you attune with yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in that moment that I even had any answers to any of those questions.
Mm.
But the fact that I even resented questions was a big deal for me.
Hmm.
Because most people in a space like that don't even consider that there may be another possibility. This is just all there is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in some environments, many environments that actually um, push you down for even asking questions, which makes it another
Mm-hmm.
wall to work through. It's like you're not even allowed to ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Children are to be seen and not heard is how I grew up. So why would you even think?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Still standing. That day under the tree, something cracked open in me. I wasn't just a girl being shuffled from house to house anymore. I was someone who had ideas, who had dreams, who could choose. That tree became more than shade and shelter. It became a mirror. One half of it stood strong, branches stretching wide, full of green life and new buds. The other side, though, was different. A large limb had been struck by lightning once, maybe years before. It was still attached, but scarred, weakened. Part of it drooped, struggling to carry its own weight. It was beautiful and broken at the same time. I tried to fix it. Just like me. I was still standing, still growing, but part of me carried damage I didn't ask for. And yet, that tree didn't stop reaching toward the sun. It didn't stop blooming. Maybe I didn't have to either. Even if parts of me were bruised or bent, I could still grow. I could still create. I could still believe in a future that looked nothing like my past. Even if the world told me it did, I didn't matter. Even if no one came to tuck me in. Even if I had no idea what tomorrow looked like. I could still imagine something different. I could still create. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to keep going. The truth is, a lot of kids in foster care don't make it through. Many turn to drugs or alcohol just to numb the ache of being unseen. Some lose themselves in toxic relationships, trying to fill the void that love should have filled. Too many don't make it out at all. The pain becomes too heavy, the silence too loud, and the hopelessness too real. I could have been one of them. Oh, that section just want to pause for a second. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I don't know. It's I guess I mean there's even statistics on a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
like you're talking about here. Not everybody makes it out. They wander into other things and um, the support. I guess the support just doesn't show up sometimes, and it's which I think is the powerful message of this book is there's always a choice. That support possibly might not be showing up, but sometimes maybe if just I can choose to take another step, go another day, then I'll find something new. Rooted
And
in belief.
sometimes it's just taking a step. That's all you can do is just take a step. But at least you take a step.
Yeah, and that was something, I think it was chapter 1, you mentioned that when he was going over
Mhm.
the activity. It's like it doesn't have to be small, or it doesn't have to be something that looks like
Mhm.
huge. Because sometimes what looks like the small step is the big step,
Mhm.
because it's something. It's momentum doesn't just happen all at once. Usually a momentum that kind of just picks up like that usually doesn't last.
Yeah. But what I know is even when the steps I was taking, nobody could see them. They were happening in here. They were happening within myself. They were happening in the quiet moments alone. So not everybody was aware of them, but I was aware of them.
Rooted in belief. That day under the tree, something rooted itself in me. It was a flicker of belief, a thread of purpose, a quiet decision that I would not let my story end in the same place it began. I didn't know what the future held. I did know I wanted to be around long enough to find out. Some moments didn't erase the pain. Oh, those moments didn't erase the pain. They lit something inside me, a reminder that I mattered, even when the system said otherwise. The truth is, foster care didn't just test me, it reshaped me. It taught me how to walk into unfamiliar places with my head held high. It taught me how to sit with my emotions instead of running from them. It taught me that sometimes the only person who can carry you is you. Still, the emotional toll was real. There were nights I cried into a pillow, trying to be silent so no one would hear. There were birthdays spent wondering if anyone remembered or even if it was my real birthday. There were questions I never had the courage to ask or let alone want to know the answers. Like, why me? Where's my real home? Will anyone ever stay? Underneath those questions, I started to build a quiet kind of strength, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that waits, the kind that knows, even if no one else sees me, that I see me. That would have to be enough, until one day it wasn't just enough. It was everything. I wanted to not only survive, but someday thrive. Whether you have had these experiences or not, you have it within you to overcome. Reach deep and have belief. It is a choice to rise higher than the ground you have been given. I like the acknowledgement in this last section. Um, Kind of what just reiterated what you said. It's, I mean, there's just even the consideration of the questions. It's really quiet stuff. Um, but it's those little wonderings. It's like that's possibility right there. That there's a wonder, and it could go this way, but maybe there's a possibility it could go the opposite way.
Mhm.
And I also like the acknowledgement here where, and this is, I suppose this is like the epitome of the reframing how your book is, where talking about how all these circumstances, they taught you something. Um, they taught you, it's almost like they taught you some kind of strength that, and I imagine this is stuff that you still carry today as a source of strength. Like those little moments is like, I mean, they're rooted back in this stuff. It's like, there's those trying times where you're not acknowledging, like, it's quiet. It was still very heavy, but You know, it was the little things. And that those times when it seems like nothing was going, the quietness, the heaviness, just kind of sitting with the wondering, then there was something that you was a muscle you was strengthening, which I think it happens a lot. In the middle of the process, people don't know they're building the foundation when they're building it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I also love how there's all this moments tied back again to the trees and that sacred place that you found that was just yours.
Yeah. Yep. I always find the trees when I'm in a new space, because no matter where you are, that energy is the same.
I love the trees myself. That's something I resonate a lot with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. Where did that go? See if I can pull up the. Oh, there it is. I have the activity pulled up. See if I can do that. Here we go. So, I guess before we do that, is there anything you wanted to say before we walk into reflection?
No, I think that we've covered it, and no matter the circumstance we're in, we can choose thriving. You absolutely can. There was a saying that I say all the time, it is what it is. And then someone last weekend brought it to my awareness that it isn't what it is, it's what we make it.
Hmm.
And so it's not, it is what it is, it's what I make it. The situation isn't going to shift, but what will I make out of it?
Right. It's the situation's here, and um how do I choose to see it and utilize it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the was that the Michelangelo statue? It's the image inside the rock.
I
Someone
don't
says it,
know.
someone says it's just a rock, and you're like, well, actually, no, it's a Michelangelo. I'm gonna
Yeah,
chisel this out.
yeah.
Okay. Reflection exercise. Speak to your younger self and into your future. I like the sound of this one already.
Mm-hmm.
Think back to a time in your life when you felt powerless. It might have been a season of transition, a moment of deep loss, or a time when you were simply trying to survive. Close your eyes and picture that version of yourself. Now write yourself a letter. What would you say to that person today? What truth do you know now that you needed to hear back then? Define what life can and must look like for you now, because you have the power within you to create. I just want to take a second. I love how this is formatted on these questions because it's literally a reflection of what you did in this chapter,
Mm-hmm.
reflecting to those moments and then saying, okay, it was in those stillness, those moments of wonder of where I was, and acknowledging that trait you had, and then saying, that trait's there. I can see as I reflect on it now that trait was always there. And now how can I tap into that and use it to build something different?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just allowing you to take a look at yourself and the experience and speak now from hindsight to that person at that time. And what is the hindsight you have? What are the words of wisdom that you can offer? For example, Robyn, I would look back at her under that tree and just say, everything is going to be amazing. No matter if you can see it now or not, your life is going to be incredible. And you've got this. And all is well. Everything is fine. And I don't think that version of me ever even anticipated the life that I have today.
Couldn't have even imagined it was so much grander.
Hmm. Yeah.
You don't have to have all the answers. Just offer them compassion. Speak to them with grace. Let them know that they were never forgotten because they're still a part of you and they deserve healing too. I really love this. A letter to yourself in those moments.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to doing this one. I've had plenty of reflections on stuff I've been through, and I just times I visualize just little me there, struggling, crying, feeling isolated or whatever I was dealing with at the time, and being like, man, that it's like, man, that's like even like moments where I would were in my childhood where I got picked on for something. I would look back at little me. I'm like, man, that is something unique that gets to be nurtured because it's like, I don't know, kids tend to do that kind of stuff, like pick on the differences, I guess. And then it's like you reflect, you're like, wow, that's one of the things that makes me stand out. And
Hmm.
I can tune into that and refine it. It's like, wow, I had that long time ago, and now I can refine it.
Yeah.
All righty. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you again, Robyn, for being with us here today.
Of course.
I'm excited. This is chapter 3. There's 9 chapters in here, so we're at a third way checkpoint. This has been a lot of fun and very insightful. I've been doing these exercises and activities along the way, and they've been profound. So at this point, then we're going to be picking this up next Thursday. And of course, I mean, if there's any adjustments, tweaks, the times, I'll post those on the Facebook and announce those. But planning on 7 o'clock p.m. next Thursday, we will start chapter 4. And so anybody who's watching the recording, give this exercise a whirl and, you know, bring it in, bring your experience into the next chapter ready to go. And so remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the Facebook. And you can also follow me on TikTok as Mr. Moonlight Rhyme. And let's see, is there anything else, Robyn, before we go ahead and end this out?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for letting me walk beside you and take your journey on with you.
Thank you. Tis a pleasure. So everybody tuning in, thank you for tuning in and welcome to my side of the moon.